everyone. So a little change of scenery. I brought this thing up to our other shop because I think fabrication is going to be a little bit easier up here. We built this little device to get it up here. Kind of cool, you know. Mounts to the body points, and in the back mounts to the body points or the subframe points there, and then we weld a hitch on there. Got her up here, so looking good. I'm going to get to you know, patching the floor. This is kind of more of our fabrication shop. You know, we have more metalworking tools and stuff, so I think it's going to be better to get for these bigger patch panels. I'll get those out in a second, but as you can see, got some holes in the floor to still fill. So I think I freaking got the last set of panels in the country. I can't find these anywhere else. These are for the rear floor pan. The front, I think, is good enough to just do little patches on. But so this is going to be kind of new waters for me. I've never done such a big patch panel, so looking online, trying to figure out some tips. And once I finish this front part, I'm going to get to welding on these, and then once these are in there, then we can go to subframe connectors, and then I think I'll jump back onto the roll cage. And because I got my seat, you can see it there, a little Kirky action. So definitely going to get that mounted up, so I know where my head's going to be and where I need to you know, have that roll cage sit. So exciting. Back to work. All right, after lots of trial and tribulation, I got this patch panel made. Trying out my freaking, you know, metal forming skills on the old anvil. So what I'm going to do now is use these things called Cleco fasteners that are basically like almost like a temporary screw, and I'm going to Cleco it in, and then once it's all secured, I'm going to use, you know, keep the panel in here and use the cutoff wheel to cut around it on a tight, you know, on the perimeter, real tight to the perimeter, and then it should just fit in there like a glove, you know, using it as a stencil almost. So that's kind of a recommendation I have, because I have on these other patch panels, you know, that I did down there and over there, I tried to, you know, make a piece of cardboard or whatever to match the shape, but I think this is kind of the way to do it, is to leave the metal in there, form it to the metal that's in there, and then cut around it real tight, so then it just slips right in. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll check back with you guys once it's all welded in there. So I did end up getting a 4L80E. I found one for a good price with a 4.8 attached to it. So I'm going to be selling the 4.8 for hopefully, you know, a good price, and basically get the tranny for a really good deal. And it's out of a box van, so it should be pretty heavy duty already. I don't know if I'm going to dive into it. I think I'm going to run it and see how it does, and then if it breaks, then we work on it. But since I got a 4L80E, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to modify this trans tunnel, and I would do some patch panels in here, but I want to wait until the 4L80E is in there, because I'd hate to make a patch for this and then have to cut the floor for the cooling lines. So I'm going to leave these two until I'm you know, sure of where that's going to land. So I'm going to jump onto this back part, and my methodology for this back is I'm going to try and follow these lines, because I think it'll give me a good datum to go off of. You can see the lines are pretty distinct in here, and I'm also going to try and leave this in. I don't want to do a bunch of, you know, cutting on the heavy stuff and then, you know, do it for no reason. So I'm going to follow these lines, kind of drill some holes from the bottom to go right to the brace, and then once I have the holes drilled, then cut it out, and then probably start cutting on this thing and then fit it in there. I feel like if I don't use these lines, it's going to be really hard to try and fit this thing up. So that's my plan, and I'm going to jump on the back part because, as I said, the front is in limbo. So these are going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. I made that really nice patch. I'm feeling confident. So a lot of work cut out for me, but we're gonna get to cutting. All right, so making really good headway. Definitely regret not cutting this to shape and then cutting the floor out, but we're making it work. So I'm using these Cleco fasteners to kind of hold it temporarily while I fit it up. And they're like basically removable, really fast removable pins kind of. So, and I'm working on this corner, so I'm drilling some holes to show where the sheet metal is underneath it, and then I'm gonna use that as reference and then draw a line a little bit above it to cut for that radius, because I think that's kind of the hardest part of this puzzle. Everything else is fitting up pretty well. And you got to look at the brace underneath here as well to make sure that, you know, it's going to be flush, so you can, you know, spot weld it or drill holes and then fill the weld and get it connected to that brace, because that's where the leaf spring connects to. So making headway. All right, got that frickin' patch panel in there. God dang it, looks pretty good. So onto the other side. Definitely have a little bit of experience now, so I'd imagine it'll go a little bit smoother than this side. This side didn't go bad, but learned a couple things. I'm thinking that I'm gonna try the other way, you know, cutting this part to shape and then cutting the floor out, instead of cutting the floor out and then making this part to shape. So we'll see how it goes. I might get some time lapses of this stuff, because I don't know, it's kind of interesting, you know, I think. So we're making headway, and I am pretty stoked on how that came out. Holy frickin' moly, ladies and gents, that is a lot of work to do in one day. But we got them both in here, and they are frickin' looking really good. So, on to the next thing, probably tomorrow, or maybe take a little break because I am beat, but we got these in and they're looking really good. It's funny, I'm actually going to be cutting through these fresh panels for the subframe connectors, but I feel a lot better now that I got some fresh sheet metal back here, because you know, you saw these pieces, they're just freaking fried. So we got it done and I'm happy to be done with that. I think I'll end the video off here, do a short little video. Stu gets patched 2.0. So thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already. More to come on this fabrication stuff, so look forward to that next video. What's up? Back for another video. So I'm going to be working on getting this roll cage in here. So first things first, I'm going to get this seat mounted up, so I kind of have something to work around and make sure that I, you know, like the location, and then kind of build the cage around the seat, because you know, you want to make sure it's in the right spot. I hit up the NHRA to kind of figure out the specifications needed for this cage. I know it needs to meet a certain spec, but I want to know what I need to do to get the cage within specs. So as I've said, I passed that technical inspection. But first things first, while I wait to hear back from them, I'm going to get this seat mounted up, you know, kind of roughly fit it in there, and then bolt it down, see how it feels. I'll probably go grab the steering column to make sure the steering wheel isn't too close or anything like that. And then we're on our way, so that's the current project. Alright, so I got this side pretty much dialed in, put a little spacer action under here to get this seat up here, or seat up a little bit higher, and cut this metal so these bolts are easy to put in. And then I got this one pasted on there and, you know, cut it nice and flush to that edge, so it looks really good. Now I'm working on building some kind of nut plates or nut brackets to go on this side. It needs to be about 1 7/8 up, so use the angle to go up this way and then over with the nut on there. Should be good. And then probably doing something similar on the back. So we're making headway, and then I just gotta get the other piece of tubing, paste it in there and cut, and then the other bracket on there, and then I'll be drilling holes for the seat and bolting it up. I also put the steering column in here to make sure that you know, we're kind of in the right spot. It's not some weird angle or something. So make sure to do that. You know, if you're going to be making something permanent, make sure that another permanent fixture is going to go in there and it's all going to line up well. So yeah, back to work. All right, big update. So I got both of these mounted up. Got these made down here to mount to the floor. Looking good. Used a level to make sure that these are kind of in the same spot, and also, you know, kind of cut them to the same length. So now that these are in here, you know, I did set the seat on them beforehand, before I kind of finalized them and made sure that it fits well to the steering column. So now I'm going to drill the seat, make sure it's in the right spot before I drill it. And then once that's in there, then I can really, you know, start trucking on the cage, because I'll be sure that I'm building the cage around the seat. And I talked to the NHRA. It doesn't sound like with a roll cage it's that important where you know, where the hoop lays compared to the helmet. So I just got to make sure that it's, you know, not going to interfere with where my seat is. So pretty simple from this point on, just a lot of fabrication that has to be done to get this cage in here. So I'm gonna get the seat in, and then I'll check in with you guys after that. All right, so I got the seat mounted in here. I was a little bit panicked because I felt like it was a little high. So I was going with this hole on the bracket, but I went with the lower one. And then I'm gonna shade this down so it looks nice, you know, coming when you look from the side. And I like lining it up with these lines on the car, so you can see this is kind of in line with this, and it looks really, you know, it kind of ties it all together. So I'm gonna cut these brackets, and then probably check with my dad and see what he thinks. But I'm gonna drill these ones as well, and then it's pretty much mounted in there. And then it's gonna look really good because I'm gonna be able to, you know, put the roll cage in line with this as well. So it's gonna look really kind of in order almost, or lined up, so to speak. So this is a big step, you know, getting this in here, so it gives me confidence that I'm putting the roll cage in right, so making headway. All right, so I did decide to put this, you know, into one video, the patch panels and the seat. So I got this seat mounted up. I definitely should have got the padding before I, you know, solidified it in here, because I might have to lower it because it is about 3 inches in the front, but I'm gonna be making an order here shortly to see where it's gonna sit, you know, once the padding's in there. So, I'm also sorry I haven't uploaded for a little while. We were dealing with some BS at our other shop, so took a little while to get through, but we're through it now. And if you haven't, like and subscribe. More to come on this old Nova. Old Stu's looking better every day. Definitely still a long road, but you know, those patches and this seat is definitely a big milestone. So cheers, rock on, have a good day. Hey, thanks for stopping into the Bluebird Enterprises YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up, and hopefully you're leaving with a bigger smile than you came in with.